Thanks for being patient. We've opened the meeting, but we will wait another minute for attendees to join, give them an opportunity to get on the meeting and get settled before we officially start.
So this 120 South Franklin Street,
Yes, sir.
it says final, but we haven't seen it before, right? It's just,
No, it's just they wanted to do one pass, so.
okay, yeah. That was my first house in Chagrin Falls.
Was it?
Oh, wow.
You're standing in for Steve already.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Standing in for Steve. He's the one who's been.
Steve, who's
lived in
lived
every
in
house
most of
that we
Chagrin,
see.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, the porch I showed you for towns with the
Oh,
kind of
the region.
rounded Palladian configuration.
That's wrong.
I realized that when I did that porch in, I don't know, 81 or 2 or something like that, I did the same thing.
I haven't even looked at it.
It's just like, oh, okay,
Yes.
40 years later or whatever.
You're consistent.
Okay, it's 8:30 if you guys want to roll.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the April 6th Architecture Review Board meeting. Our first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Are there any comments or thoughts on the minutes that were?
I have one very minor edit I will forward to Joan. That's just a typo.
Okay.
Perfect.
Other than
I
that,
love
I move to
typos.
approve. I'll send it to you, Joan. Other than that, I move to approve.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I second it.
Okay, a motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs. Childs,
Yes.
Naylor.
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved as amended.
Okay, our first item on the agenda is Postlethwaite. Is that how I say that? At 120 South Franklin Street. Is there someone to give us a presentation on that, please?
We have very few people in attendance right now. I'm not sure if Zoom is having issues. Usually I have an entire list of attendees. I only have 2 people representing projects that are further down the line. So, Harry, could you check your email and see if anyone's reached out to you?
Nope, nobody, I don't think anybody has reached out to
So
me.
I have Dean Tompkins and Don in attendance, but and Beth and Larry, but no one else. And usually I would have an entire list of folks online by now.
Okay,
So let me see, we could jump down to number 3. Don Simpson is here, so.
yeah,
if
we
you
could do
wanna
that.
start-
That's a resubmittal from the
Okay.
last meeting, so,
Okay, so I will promote Don to talk about item number 3 on the agenda.
Very good.
okay.
Is this 77 Maple Street?
Yes, it is. This is in front of you folks at the last meeting, but there was nobody here to represent the applicant.
Hi, Don, are you with us?
Don, please unmute.
Oh, he's still on mute? Okay.
Turn your camera on.
And through the Zoom platform, I've requested an unmute and an start the camera. Don, if you're with us, could you please unmute and join the conversation?
How's that?
That's
There
better.
you are.
You hear me now?
Yes.
We can
Don,
hear you, Don.
Could you tell us a little bit about your fence project, please?
Yeah, they're just trying to enclose their backyard for kids and a possible dog. It is the aluminum, as you can see in the drawing there, 4 foot high. That red line on the one drawing kind of follows the driveway with the gate. Then they close off in the rear with the small gate, and also on the side to the Lund side, represented by all the red lines there. They're all just short little things just to close that yard in. And also that fence on the one side, I don't know which picture you're looking at, it's a stockade fence that we kind of hook over to. Maura Carr is the name. She's replacing that entire fence, hopefully, with the board on board, so that'll look new too.
Perfect.
Didn't we see this before? Because we had the discussion about the fence along the driveway and pushing it behind.
Yeah,
the
we
arborvitae.
saw it at the last meeting, Bill, but there
Okay.
was nobody here to represent the applicant.
Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, I'm sorry.
But
The one
but,
suggestion we had done,
Don, in
Oh,
your
go ahead, sorry.
consideration, you've done a lot of fences. Don't you think that fence would be better behind the little arborvitae's than right along the driveway, even from a practical
Probably.
standpoint of?
Probably just for
car?
the, and we can do that. That's not a problem. Probably
what I
just for
mean,
opening
right?
car doors and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, just to give them the room to even open a car door, plow or whatever, yeah. It
Back
probably
up,
would be better. We
right?
can do that.
Well, I'm not certain. This application is for the metal fence.
Mhm.
And then what happens with the remove and replace or the replacement of the stockade with board on board?
We haven't even discussed that yet. She just called actually yesterday and said, go ahead. So I need to get stuff submitted to you guys on that.
Okay, yeah.
And
She
as a
wants to do a-
replacement, Harry, if
Yeah,
it's
she
a-
wants to do board on board.
Harry, if it's a conforming replacement, would you not even bring it in front of us, or you could do it later?
If you're okay with it, I'll just, if you know what the board on board fence is, so if you're okay, obviously, I think it's gonna look better than that stockade fence there, so,
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, we'll just, if you're okay with it, I'll just have Auburn Fence go ahead and just do the fence permit, and they can move along.
Okay,
okay.
Right?
Any other comments? No, any motion?
I move to approve as presented with adjustment of the fence to be, I don't know what direction, west of the arborvitae's.
West.
Wendy, do you want to put something in there about the board on board fence to the adjacent property owner as well?
Can we do that if they're not here with
Well, you
approval?
could just say, if that property owner wants to, I
Okay.
guess, replace it with a board
Subject,
on board.
in addition, subject to owner approval, replacement of the stockade fence with board on board fence to the west.
Perfect, thank you. So
I
we have a
second it.
motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs. Naylor,
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Okay, it's approved. Thanks, Don.
All right, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
I'll look
Thank you.
forward to the car application.
All righty, have a good day, everybody.
All right,
You too,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks.
So what would be our next one? Is there anyone else on board
We
yet?
have Donna Mintz, who's the first on the agenda. So we have, I'm promoting Donna to become an applicant for 120 South Franklin.
Okay,
Perfect,
very good.
thank you.
I am here, but for some reason, I was only able to join late.
Donna, I think there was an issue with Zoom. We were noticing that many people were late in joining. So thanks for being persistent, and we've got you now, so we can proceed.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do we need to do an HSR report first?
Yeah, you need to receive it. It did
Okay.
come.
So we'd like to receive the HSR report. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Would you like me to read the conclusions of the HSR
Sure, sorry about that. Go
report?
ahead.
Would that be, okay. The conclusions of prospectus are that the house meets the standards of historically significant property as defined by the code. The proposed configuration of 1/1 windows with aluminum clad wood replacement dumbbell hung at the second floor are compatible. The proposed picture window is replacing a door that was leading onto a porch. And that prospectus says changes the appearance and is regarded as an adverse effect on the design and historical appearance of the house. Mitigation or suggestions are that the picture window is not appropriate, and to mitigate an adverse effect, consider replacing the twin double hung windows with a window in the shape of a door, as historically there was a door there. Consider a solid wood panel in the lower half and glass in the top half. Number 2, consider a dark color for the windows instead of black. And for future consideration by the owner, reconstruct the roof over the porch on the front of the house, I think, to accommodate this window replacement. And that was the conclusions of prospectus.
Can I see a picture of the house with a porch where that window is?
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah, I'm getting to it real quick.
Yeah, okay.
And Donna, do you have drawings of what you're proposing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do. I can send that to you right
No, I
now.
got them here.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
email it to you. I can do it right now, though.
So don't we first have to accept the HSR report?
We do.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the picture here.
Go back down a little bit, Harry.
Down a little bit.
Okay,
There you
hold on. See it now. Done.
I move to accept, or Bill, did you move to accept the report? We need a second.
Yeah, I'll move to accept the report.
Okay, a second.
Okay. Motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs to accept the HSR.
Other way, but yeah.
Okay, motion by Childs,
Yes.
Yeah,
seconded by Naylor.
thank you.
So I have a quick question. Is that a double door? Is that a single door? Is that, I can't really tell. Does
That's
anyone know?
double door. That's a big window.
That's a
It's
big
an
window
origi-
right now?
Yeah, it's an original window.
Okay. So where's the door that they're talking about? Comes out on the porch? Is it on this opposite
Up-
side
up.
over here?
Up,
The second
up
floor.
top, there was a second story porch.
Oh, that's what they're referring to. Okay. I
So if
understand.
you scroll up a little bit, Harry, there you go.
Got it.
So it's now a double window
Looks like a casement.
and
Or is it
Two double hungs.
it's
Two
two,
double hungs,
it's
okay.
two narrow double hungs.
Mm.
It might have been a door.
Yeah,
It
that's
was-
what prospectus is talking about. That was a door leading. And Phil, was that porch there when you lived there?
No,
Okay.
it was there when John Borsell lived there.
Oh, okay.
Well, why were they allowed to take off the porch?
Oh, I don't know. That was,
First of all, that's allowed back then was not something that most people paid attention to. It probably deteriorated and they didn't have the money or interest in trying to maintain it. It was gone. I lived in this house. I bought it in 1980 or 81. And that there was no window up there either. That was just access off the bedroom up to the attic. And the door was gone. The porch was gone. Love to see that added back on, but that's a whole different
Right, right.
gig.
So I just sent to
That's
Steve and
the
Harry
house. That's the house.
proposed.
Could you clarify for me what this request is?
Yeah, that'd be helpful. I agree.
What do you mean the request?
Well,
What you're
What are
proposing to
you
do.
planning on doing?
We're proposing a picture window there that will be almost, it will match the look of the door below with a picture window as opposed to the two skinny double hungs. And I did just send a rendering of that
10.
to Harry in an email.
but it looks like you're replacing windows all the way around.
The top floor. We're doing 8 double hung windows and proposing 1 picture window for the window above the door.
So will the top floor be black windows and the bottom floor remain the white windows?
No, the house is being painted later on after the windows are done, and all of the windows will be black.
Mhm.
It looks very nice. The proposed. And since there were already changes to the historical look of the house, this to me is an improvement of what it looks like now.
Well, what we
So
want to try
you're
to
talking
do.
about, oh, sorry, go ahead,
No,
Bill.
no, go ahead. I'm good.
You're talking about, so I have this clear, and the picture window, it's a solid fixed paned window, right? With no double hung division to it.
Exactly. Which the door below it, of course, you know, these windows are, you know, this is the center window over above the door, and then the double hungs are over the double hungs at the side of the house. The left and the right sides.
I mean, if you made it a double hung, I don't know the dimensions on those lower, larger windows. It might tie in a little better and blend so that you have those three that at least match.
Okay, did anybody look at Harry, were you able to get the email I just sent with the?
I can't go into my, you should have sent that when you sent the application in. I can't go back to my emails because I'm screen sharing
Was there a
everything.
way that I can show it?
Sure. Christie's got to give you permission for screen share.
Sure. Harry, I will disable your screen share temporarily, and then Donna will be able to share her screen.
Okay.
Just a note as well, I know some folks in the audience were having some difficulty joining the meeting. I do believe it was a Zoom issue. We started on time. Thanks for joining. Henry, I see you on. I know you were having issues. And Jody Haas, I see your hand raised. Donna, you should be able to share your screen now.
So how do I do that then? I've got,
So there's a little green button at the very bottom. If you see everyone's image, it says share screen. And if you click that button, it will allow you to select which screen you would like to share.
okay,
You have to have your document open first.
it is open.
Okay, so hit the green screen share button,
Mhm.
select the screen, and it now we see the picture of the two pictures hovering over one another.
Mhm. The existing and then the proposed.
Yes.
Correct.
Too much glass.
So my comment then, that's very helpful to see the proposed, but I think a horizontal bar, if you really want to keep that a picture, or better yet, just changing that to a double hung, it does look like it's proportionally very close to those lower windows. I think it would look fine. It just needs that horizontal bar. It's going to look like the thing that doesn't belong otherwise.
Even though it's above a door, you know, a lot of times doors have those big windows, the transoms type.
They're
Yeah.
usually more elaborate windows over the doors, not less. I think it's going to look like it's missing something.
I
Yes.
agree totally. It should have a horizontal bar. Actually, in proportion wise, these windows probably should all three of those be equal going across there to show hierarchy from the bottom. This window probably should be the same size as these windows. What's the space beyond that window in the middle?
I'm sorry, what are you asking me? What are you asking me?
Correct. I'm asking you, what's the space beyond that window?
What's behind
Yeah,
it?
What's behind
stairs.
it?
It's a
Well,
bedroom. So I'm not sure what do you mean? If you want the window to be a
There's
different size?
There's a stairs to the attic. This is
Oh,
at the
it's the
bottom of the
stairs?
stair.
Okay,
I
no, we're
would,
just asking for it to match as a double hung
right,
with the rest of the windows. Just
right.
make it a double hung.
Okay,
So that,
Yeah, and I wouldn't do the black. I would definitely, that's, again, I've said this a million times. That's kind of a trend right now. You see on Houzz and Pinterest. I don't think for a historical house, but you got a beautiful house here. I would try to keep it not black, because then probably in 10 years it'll be out of style. I would try to find a color that, like the HSR report had indicated, the color that not so dark, but maybe dark, maybe like a bronze or something, not the pure black would be my opinion.
I mean, I know that's a personal, review of historical appropriateness, which I understand there are so many houses just, you know, on the same block that have changed their windows to black. And, you know, this is something that I'm wondering if that's you know, a line that's not able to be crossed, or if this homeowner has that flexibility to choose what their preference is.
What are the
homeowner-
color of the windows on the first floor that you're not replacing?
Pardon me?
What is the color of the
They
window?
are white, and all of the windows are white, but the homeowner is painting the house, and all of the windows will match eventually. And that's this spring. Later this spring, they are painting the house.
And in answer to your question, I believe that the homeowner ultimately does get to determine colors.
Okay.
So our board is not in governance of the colors in the
Okay.
town. But that, I mean, that you should consider people's opinions on this board. I mean, the historic consultants had, you know, to be appropriate here, you can do a dark colored window that's not black. I mean, it's something for your consideration.
I certainly will bring that up to
Good,
them.
yeah, you're getting good opinions that are knowledgeable, but it is ultimately up to you.
In addition, I'd pay attention, and this is again just a suggestion, to the tint of the glass, to not go with the dark tint to the
Right,
glass
and
as well.
they're just going with the regular low E glass. It would not, that's just shaded for,
Yeah.
you know, graphic illustration.
So are we ready for a motion?
Yeah, is there any other comments or thoughts?
Hey, Bill, you want to explain to the applicant, since there's only 2 voting members?
Right, if one of us says no, then it gets declined.
Because we're short one member this meeting, you'd have the option to wait for a meeting with a full complement of members.
Right,
Or you can't come back with the exact same thing if it's voted down.
I'm okay with making a decision today.
Okay,
Okay, I move to approve plans as presented with adjustment of the picture window to a 1/1 double hung
And,
configuration.
excuse, may I ask one question? We may also just have a grid in that window that would simulate a double hung window, but retain the look of the double hung, but it would still be a fixed light. And then that would match the horizontal division of that.
No, I make the motion for double hung to maintain the profile to match the other windows of the house.
Yeah. A grid GBG between the glass or whatever, that doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Joan, did you get that motion?
Can you just repeat it since you guys kind of stopped and went on again?
Okay, motion to approve plan is presented with adjustment to the picture window to be revised as a 1/1 double hung window.
second it.
okay. Motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs. Naylor,
Yes.
Childs,
Yes,
okay. Donna, you've got your answer there,
Okay,
okay?
and so we will move forward. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we go to the second one on the
Yeah,
agenda. is those
now
folks
we can
here?
go back to 18 East Orange Street.
We can. I
Okay.
would like to address Jody Haas, who has a hand raised. I'm not sure if.
That's Henry Piper, one of the same.
Oh, it is. Okay, super. Thank you.
You can stop the screen share for Diana Mintz too,
Donna,
or Donna, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Okay, Harry, you should be able to screen share again.
Okay, thank you.
And Jody and Henry, you've been invited to become a panelist. If you could unmute and start your camera, please.
Can you unmute and start your camera, please?
I can't. Where's the
Harry
camera?
has started something. Don't you?
Oh, here we go.
Oops. Okay,
Are we ready to present?
You're a
Yes, please
star,
do.
Henry. Go ahead.
Okay, I am sitting here with Roger Kowal, and Roger is desirous of building a 24-foot by 40-foot, 1.5-story garage barn behind his property at 18 East Orange Street. The building proposed would be against the stockade, or 10 feet from the stockade fence, which runs along the westerly property line, and 10 feet from the rear property line, which runs along the village parking lot. The critical issue for us was creating a building that was somewhat seamless, or would seem like it has always been there, as if it was like the carriage house. It had been built at an earlier time, and Roger is very, very particular about his property and his buildings and blending in. So if it was possible to make this building invisible, we would. However, that's not possible. So we mirrored, to some extent, the carriage house next door. So if you are standing to the south of this in the village parking lot and looking over the stockade fence, you would see the carriage house, which is 26 feet wide, plus an addition to the west. And this building is 24 feet wide, and they both share the same 812 roof pitch, and they both would share the same 5 foot 4.5 inch knee wall height on the second floor, or hayloft part of the building. The building is kept, as near as we could keep it, as simple as possible. We are proposing a board and batten siding. There has been some discussion about whether we should use natural wood or whether we should use the hardy plank and hardy plank batten system, which is used by a lot of people who are building board and batten sided homes. The roof would be a metal standing seam roof, and that's pretty much the story here. Roger, would you like to say something in your behalf?
I think you probably put it in summary just perfectly, Henry. I would probably only want to fortify the spirit of the building as being as complimentary and sensitive to the neighborhood as possible, because the back side of the coach house and our building already has wooden painted in a barn red, and we probably duplicate the same color paint for painting this barn as the rest of the other two buildings are. There's also a small garage belonging to the Schutz hardware store that's on the other side of the fence in the same color of barn red. So it would be, as far as coloring, very similar to the whole environment around it. So like Henry started earlier, if we could make it invisible, we would. I think it will blend in as perfectly as possible. And I'm very sensitive to that being the desirous end project.
You're good from a zoning standpoint. There's no zoning issues, I'm
There are
assuming.
no zoning issues here.
Okay, okay.
I was gonna ask that. Does the applicant, or do you, Harry, have a photograph of the complimentary
I do not have photographs.
carriage house?
Henry, do you have any photographs?
I do, but I have no way of showing you those photographs. I'm sorry.
Hold them up to your camera.
Oh, no,
Old
I can't
school.
do that.
Old school screen share.
They're on a disc. The carriage house is really the only building that I would, and we are completely complimenting it in massing, and our building is shorter than the carriage house because it's not as wide. But aside from that, I'm sorry, I don't have a way of showing you the picture of the carriage house.
I mean, I do think this design is very attractive and seems sympathetic with, you know, the primary Cuffs building. I mean, I have, and I think the materials are going to be high quality. So I think you're
If
trying to do
you,
everything right. So that, I think that,
if you could find a way to do it in real wood, I think it would be even better. See if you can find some salvage barn siding or something that would work for you, and
brand new cedar.
yeah, well, that's closer. Yeah, tough to get cedar that isn't.
Any other comments?
Yeah,
No, I think the design looks great.
I
Yeah.
do too. Motion to approve. I make the motion to approve.
Second,
Motion by Childs, seconded by Naylor. Henry, we're short one member, so we only have 2 voting members. So if one votes against it, then the motion would fail, just so you know.
I understand that. I prefer you go ahead with the vote.
Okay. Naylor,
yes.
Childs?
Yes.
Okay. You're all set, Henry.
Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank
Thank
you.
you forward.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
go forth and build.
So is there a second one or fourth one where the Wilkinson's at 252 South Franklin Street? Is there someone
That's-
there to represent that?
That's me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, George.
That's okay.
Oh.
Oh, no, wait, this is not it. This is Horvath. Is that the? I think we're 252 South Franklin.
You're 252. Maybe I got them backwards.
That's fine. We could do this one first.
Okay, is,
Yeah. 225.
225 Sun Lake Hills, right.
255?
Did I just skip in line? I didn't mean to.
Doesn't matter.
You didn't.
225 is,
Oh, that Rebecca, I'm telling you.
I know, she's a troublemaker.
You want to tell us a little bit about your project, Rebecca? You're on mute.
Yeah.
I just
There we go. Sorry.
promoted Rebecca for the next project.
Right.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, they want to, so this is at the very back of Senlac Hills. They wanted to add, they really wanted a 4-car garage. They wanted to add 2 cars to their existing. As you can see, if we pig snouted that house, it would be pretty awful. They don't have a ton of backyards, so my thought was to give them it detached. So we're matching everything. The houses are all, you know, vinyl siding, asphalt, shingles, and we're tucking it in the back. The primary use for this is kind of indoor sport court for his girls that play soccer. But they're going to be storing their cars in it when the girls aren't playing sports.
Okay. I think it looks pretty good. Any other comments?
No, I like it. I like the configuration.
Yep, I do too.
It's very nicely proportioned and
Yep.
Consistent with the Sun Lake Hills.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's great. It has a little interest to it. I'm good with it.
All right.
Hey,
move to approve.
can we get final?
no.
It's ready.
You need to
Becky,
add
what are we
one
gonna do
name.
about this building? We gotta get it behind the rear building line here. From a zoning standpoint, I can't approve this.
Yeah, that's fine, Harry. You're just wanting like 3 inches in between my rake board and the
Well,
back.
like I highlighted,
rake.
it says it has to be behind the rear building line. So however you want to define that.
Instead of on, right.
Well, you tell me. I mean, it is behind it in my mind's eye, but it's not in yours. So how can I get
Put it-
there?
Put it a foot behind the rear building line, you should be okay.
Okay,
Because you
Good,
gotta
done.
think about the overhangs too.
I know. We've got room in the back, so
Okay.
it can do that.
Okay, and then what about the air conditioner? You and I had that conversation here. You're
Yeah,
gonna apply for a variance on that?
No, we're not going to apply for a variance. We can move it to wherever you see fit. It seems to me that if they're heating and cooling this structure, that the heating and cooling should make sense with this structure and be on the back of this building. If
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't make sense to me to put the condenser behind the main building. Just intuitively, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's a zoning
If-
code.
I understand that, and we're, you know, trying to fix some of the zoning code, but what if we hung a Mitsubishi unit from the building? Does that,
It's still,
Not to interrupt, but would you mind, maybe you guys could just do this offline? We'll keep going. I mean, your project's great. We think it's awesome and it's approved, but I think we got to keep rolling on the agenda. And maybe you could just work out these P and Z things with Harry offline. If you don't mind, I
that's
apologize.
fine, Bill. No,
Just
that's
keep
good.
things moving.
Okay, thank you. Motion for
Thank you.
preliminary approval of plans as presented.
Second,
Motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs. Naylor,
Yes.
Childs,
yes.
perfect.
we'll talk later, Harry. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
So our next one is, are we back to Wilkinson, correct? 252 South Franklin Street?
Yes.
Correct.
Got it. George, you want to tell us what you're doing?
Yep. Primarily, we're adding a pavilion behind the house, so it will be the accessory structure for the house. It's open, so, but were it to be enclosed, it would comply with the, it's less than 700 square feet. So we were kind of trying to take that into account, make sure that it wasn't larger than our allowable accessory structure. I mean, as you look at it, you will actually see right through it. So we'll have a more open feel. I think these drawings kind of show, don't quite demonstrate that, but they, it's got square timber posts, which are not exactly the same as the white painted posts of the house, but I think complement it. It has the side facing gable that's facing the driveway side of the house, and a fireplace. So it's really meant to be primarily a structure that's used for outdoor living, and you could park a car under it, just for shelter as well.
I just had one quick question, George, while we're doing this. I think it looks great. Nice job on it. Why is this piece higher than over here? It's my only question I see off the top of my head.
Well, that's a great question. That's meant to be a little bar countertop.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So it's
Got it.
picked up to that height. That's
Okay.
It's just that to the left of or to the right of the left of the fireplace from inside, the right of the fireplace from outside. It's just a little spot where you could sit at a bar. You've got a little overhang with the stone there.
Okay. We see the other two elevations,
Sorry about
and I'm
that.
assuming they're fairly close. Is that right?
Now, that section on A5. There you go. That's why it's raised.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
It's cute.
Looks
I like
good.
it.
Thank you. Thank Amanda. She did a nice job on it.
And George, you got the email about the plan review comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
We'll take care of those.
Any other comments? If not, move to approve.
This is a motion for final approval, right? Second.
Motion by Childs, second by Naylor. Childs,
Yes.
Naylor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Our next one is Payne 36 Philomethian Street, proposing a south side existing window relocation.
Dean Tompkins is coming online.
So that's a field change.
Yes, it is. They're just gonna remove a window, from what I understand.
Which window do we know?
Kitchen window?
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think I'm here.
You are.
You're here.
Wow.
All right.
Hi, Dean.
Morning, everybody. So I'm filling in for Dave Payne. He's out of town, but it's actually the north side. I think they mislabeled
Dean,
it.
for the record, could you just state your name and your position with the company? Thank you.
Dean Tompkins, owner of Payne and Payne Renovations and Design. Okay, so it's on that left side. If you scroll down just a little bit,
Okay.
there was a big window kind of matching the one on the far left of it, underneath that second floor window. And then there
So
was
it's right here.
well, that, yeah, it's right where he just drew the red.
Okay.
So it matches that one, but was right there. And then there was a tiny little one underneath that little one in just under the gable on the first floor. But it didn't match in size. I could share my screen if you want. I've got the original.
That's okay. I think we get the,
We get the
So,
gist.
so the main obstacle,
so you meant there's a little one here,
what's that? I'm sorry.
a little one there.
Yeah. So the main issue is the big one in the kitchen. Like we've sliced this thing every which way we can for a kitchen layout, and that window just kills the kitchen layout. The smaller one's in a closet. Like if that was detrimental or you think it helped balance, like I could definitely keep it. It just is kind of a useless window to the floor plan itself.
So you've got a tall window in the, we'll call it the center of that elevation. And on the plan, it looks like it's in a little lavatory.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then the window that was added and now you're taking away, adjacent to that is in a closet, and it makes no sense to have it in the closet.
Right. That's
And it looks fine without it. And then there was another tall window that matches the one that you're showing in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yes.
Like right
Underneath that one. Yep.
there was a window there. So we're reviewing is that window being gone and then
Yep.
that one.
In the reference photos, you get a pretty good public sight line. I mean, it really is tucked to the back of the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think it can live without it personally. I mean, it's borderline. It's a fair amount of wall, but at least you've got the upper windows there. So
I got
I'm
a
okay with it
question.
just because of the sight line. Excuse me, Bill, go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize. Hey, Dean, was there a window where my red circle was or no?
No, no.
Okay,
And
I'm
that's
fine with
existing.
it. I'm fine with it too. Any other comments?
Nope.
Okay, move to approve.
Second,
Motion by Childs, second by Naylor. Naylor,
yes.
Childs,
Yes.
motion's approved.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dean. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Our next one is Callahan, 271 High Street. There's someone there to represent it?
Yes, I'm promoting Tim now.
Thank you.
John, I see your hand as well. I'm promoting you along with Tim.
Have we seen this before?
Yes.
Yeah, so a
That's what I
little
thought.
history. You saw this last year, just after COVID. And they wanted to get the house demolished, which they did. And now they've come back. They want to make some changes
There was yeah,
to the overall house.
you want to, oh, never mind. Sorry.
So they made some pretty drastic changes to the house. So basically, you're gonna treat this as a new submission. There are some notes about building code compliance, I got to resubmit, and same with grade plan. So I'll turn it over.
I know this is a pretty big ask, but is there any way to see what was before and what we're reviewing now, just because it's been so long, just to get a comparison?
Harry, do you have that? I sent you elevations and plans side by side that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those, I do have them open on my computer so I can show them, because it is very helpful to see side by side.
What page is that? Because this is like 30 some pages long.
It's not in this. It was something I sent to you earlier to explain what we had done.
Okay, then maybe you should do a screen share and you can bring it up.
And I think it can quickly illustrate the changes. And the changes on one hand are really, really subtle. The house looks the same. It's just mirrored.
Harry, are you okay if I disable your screen share so John can start?
Right ahead.
Okay.
I thought it was mirrored.
Okay, Harry, you just had it on your screen.
Oh.
But I can share mine.
Go ahead.
And then that eliminates the big retaining wall, right?
Yeah, makes the building the retaining wall.
Okay, so if you look on the left-hand side, this was the original site plan submittal that was approved last year. So it showed a longer driveway and what ended up being a large retaining wall. And once we put this out to bid, we got the numbers back. The numbers obviously were impacted due to COVID, but we took a step back, put the project on hold for a couple months, and just reevaluated some things. So ultimately, the new plan shrunk by about 10%, and it got mirrored. And when we mirrored it, it went back to our original design, which we had changed based on some feedback we got from the civil engineer. We ended up re-mirroring it. So everything's flipped. And the other slight difference, so we shifted it slightly to the north, up to the setback line, and then we rotated the garage, as you can see. From a street view, this is the original front facade that you approved last year. This is the new facade. So even though in drawing and in construction documents, I mean, it's as Harry said, it's a radical change. It really isn't. It's essentially the same house, shrunk by 10%, and then with the garage on that angle. So materials, everything else stays exactly the same that was proposed originally.
Can we go right around the house? Like, do you have the other elevations?
We can, well, since I'm on there, I only did this with the front elevation showing the side by side.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But I do believe.
You go back to screen share. There you go.
This is what I submitted to Harry. This is just a quick color rendering showing this is the front facade that I just showed relative to last year's solution. And then the rear of the building, again, which is just mirrored. It's essentially the same. The only real change is we did end up adding this connector from the house to the garage that allowed us to put a larger mudroom in, and we moved the laundry from the master suite into this area and then have some storage below.
I think what jumps out to me is the transition between, I think it's a little gable roof and then your flat roof. So that little gable stops. How did you get to that? I'm curious.
Well, we had the flat roof, again, the flat roof as the entryway and the vertical circulation in the house. That was just the design intent. This just felt like, again, since the flat roof was only for the entry and vertical circulation, that still remained a flat roof. This seemed to need to go back to the gable. And the garage in this elevation, it's hard to see. The garage level and the finished floor level, those kept shifting depending on the feedback I was getting from the civil engineer, Isaac Lewin's daughter, Gail. Ultimately, we were able to work it out so that the garage floor and the finished floor of the house are at the same grade. Which helps. They want to have a one level of living. So I was thrilled to be able to have them be able to park and walk directly into the house without steps.
Right.
I don't know if that entirely answers your question.
No, I think that's helpful. You can see that garage is right, it floated up a little. Is there any living over the garage?
No, it's just, it is attic storage area.
I mean, the garage is, aesthetically, the garage is the part that I'm not positive about, because the house is beautiful. You know, it's great, nice design. It was, I think it still is.
Yeah.
And I think the garage functions is kind of straightforward. I'm not sure it's, you know,
What if the link stayed? I mean, the garage is the garage. And that, what you see, the door and the horizontal window is really what you're going to see from the street. And I'm sort of mirroring George's question. I think that the transition hallway, laundry room, etc., looks clumsy compared to how it was linked, how you linked the master bedroom on the opposite side. It seems like if you're going to go to a flat roof, why not allow that flat roof to carry all the way to the garage, and then you don't have that sort of weird hip and valley that you don't have anywhere else in the design. Excuse me. I'm pointing to something I can't point to, but
you can annotate under view options up top. You could so that's really the only way to indicate where you're talking about something.
Now, I see, I mean, on the back side, yeah, the front side, you don't really see that hip because it's blocked by the garage.
No, the front side is that sort of sheer drop that I think, I don't know if that works.
Hey, John, this is Bill Childs. I think you did a really nice job on this house. I think it's really well done.
Thank you.
I think what we're struggling with is you have this main mass. Let me just annotate real quick. So you have this main mass, and then you have this really strong datum line that goes through the composition. So you have what's called a link here, and you have a form or a piece, and then you have a link here, and then you have a piece, which I think you got it set up really well. It's just tying it together. So I think you either do a roof that goes all the way across like this, that's a gable roof that almost ties into this height if you can, or you just keep it a flat roof and run it across. And I think either one of those would solve what we're contemplating.
You know, and I would not push back. And as we looked at this, one of the challenges is this is only 6 feet wide. This is 10 feet wide. So if I maintain the same pitch, it just pushes this up higher.
Okay. What about a flat?
Flat roof, I'm not resistant to flat roofs at all, but this is going back to our own architectural education where, I've got the elevation that is indicative of what function is happening inside. And since this was only circulation and that was only the flat roof, maybe I'm standing on design principles a little bit too much aesthetically. I don't know that I would have an issue with having that at flat roof, and it may look better. Part of the challenge was just the fact that the end of the gable where the pitch ends couldn't be aligned. And it may now, again, Gail and I went back and forth and back and forth. I may be able to pull this down so that that datum line that Bill referenced would be more consistent. I did play with that.
I think if you were able to put this little white band below there and pull it, and then if you could pull the whole garage eave down just a touch, maybe you can. I mean, then I don't think I would see it as being kind of sheared off and stuck on. I think all of a sudden it would tie in, and then you could keep the distinction of having that, pitched roof over the mudroom area and the flat roof over the entry, because I understand what you're trying to do there.
I don't disagree with that. Again, this was the area, that connection, that everything else I'm really comfortable with. When we added that, I'm not a big angle person, so it was a struggle for me to even make the angle of the garage.
It makes it brings the garage way more into play. Like, it makes it less clean in a way when it's on the angle. It's all of a sudden it's a thing. I mean, you could also, I know you don't need it, if you did something more figural with like a vertical or horizontal, like a little more glass on the end of the garage. You're actually the thing you can see from the street. No, and I'm hesitant. I mean, I would still leave that up to you.
No, that's the other. I mean, because this is, as Phil noted, if you go back to, well, it's not allowing me to scroll back up now. Because I'm not on the right. If we go back to the plan, as Phil noted, as you're driving up over here, you're driving straight at that garage. So we could also add a window or two to make that look more like part of the house and less like part of the garage, if that would also help with this. But I would have no problem studying that transition if that's the only issue.
Yeah, I think that's only, everything else I think looks great. I think if you could just restudy that, I think we're good to go. Any other comments?
John, you should get together with me, call me, and we'll talk about these issues with the building code review and the grade plan from our engineer.
Yes, I saw that came through this morning. I've not had a chance to go through it, but that's not a problem. I'm happy to talk to you about that. A question, and it may be, and we can't start construction until we have a permit. So I assume that you'll want to see this small change in the next ARB, or is that something that you can do via email or administratively?
I think we'd want to see it at the ARB. I think it's a big enough change that with what we're talking about, if it was just some slight windows or modifications, but getting that link and that all the same, I think it would make sense to have it come back.
Okay.
But it could easily be, 2 weeks from now, so that that doesn't put a big crimp into your schedule.
Oh,
Right.
All right, very good.
I will. Yes.
So do we have a motion, Bill?
I move to approve. based on, preliminary wise, based on relooking at the garage link and the window configuration, that piece of the composition.
Second.
Okay, motion by Childs, second by Naylor. Revise and resubmit with comments. Childs,
Yes.
Naylor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next one is Marvalis, 143 East Washington Street. Is there someone there to represent?
Not that I can identify. If there are any member of the public who's in attendance to speak to this project, please raise your hand in Zoom so I can identify you.
Oh, Cleveland Plumbing.
Right.
This is a pretty easy sign we could probably look at without anyone presenting it.
I agree. Looks pretty good.
Yep. That's not ruffling any feathers.
Just need a motion.
Does anyone else have any other comments? I don't want to shortchange anyone.
Just, can you tell me where the placement of the sign is? Is it on the facade?
Good
There
point.
is a somewhat rudimentary.
There it is. Okay. Okay.
I think it's safe to say it'll look a little better than that.
Yeah.
They're really doing quite a job on the front.
Yeah,
of
they
it.
are.
Oh,
It's
man.
very nice when it's done.
So I move to approve as presented.
I second it.
Motion by Naylor, seconded by Childs. Naylor,
Yes.
Childs,
Yes.
approved. Thank you.
And Carrie, you may end up taking a look, but just make sure it's up high enough.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
over
not-
that sidewalk.
That seems a little low right now, but
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think the same thing just slid up could be.
Maybe they're putting it on the post over the rail so no one can clunk into it.
I think they are right. I think
Yeah.
that's just not shown
Yeah.
correctly.
Harry will take care of that.
Yep,
Yep.
I'm on it. Okay, 250 Bramley,
Family.
Hmm.
final.
Someone here to represent it?
I hope.
Yep.
I'm promoting folks as we speak. Craig and Steve, if you can hear me, please unmute and start your camera.
have we seen this before?
Yes.
Preliminaries. This is the final.
Can you hear us, Craig?
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Hello, Craig.
Here you are.
Yes.
Craig?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
And we
Okay,
can see
sorry
you.
about that. I'm not the most savvy computer guy.
Can you walk us through your project, please?
Yes, well, we had this in a preliminary twice. We made modifications that you guys suggested. And then we brought them to, final plans. So, like I said, again, I mean, the preliminary drawings that we brought in, we basically, finished.
So you haven't changed anything? No
Yeah.
modifications? Okay. Any comments from our board?
No?
I'm okay with this.
Okay. Move to approve then?
Second.
Motion by Childs, second by Naylor. Naylor,
Yes.
Childs,
Yes.
Craig, you're approved.
Oh,
That was
boy.
easy.
Now I got a lot of work to do. That's tough. I much appreciate it. Harry, I'll be calling Katie to get permits and all that. So
Very good.
thank you for your help.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
612 North Street.
You guys have also saw this, I think at the last meeting, this is for final, and I think George is presenting.
Correct. So we made that's a good place to stop, Harry. We made a substantial change to this following the last meeting, and in trying to successfully kind of vault their kitchen addition, but still keep a horizontal, a low eave on the front to keep this thing feeling like you've got, these three elements that already existed, and let them really be the focus. We introduced this side facing partial gable. It's kind of partially engaged with the house. And so what you're seeing is the kitchen, which is out just a foot behind that front gable, that's vaulted sideways now. And then further back, you've got the laundry room, which is just a shed coming forward, from, and then we're cricketing between those two things. And I was happy that the vaulting seemed to be very successful then in the kitchen, and we got a high window in there for a little highlight. And hopefully you like this better, because we eliminated kind of the awkward side of a shed dormer addition. So I'll leave it at that.
Comments from the board members?
I think I think you addressed the major concerns that we were talking about, respecting that eave line, horizontal eave line, and the gable coming out. I think it's complicated roof, but I think it solves the problems that I had with the composition and gets your client a vaulted ceiling. So what's not to like?
And we removed this stone as well, right?
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Is it possible, George, to get a window on that front elevation because of the cabinetry and when you got a cooktop or an oven there?
We had
like a little one or something?
We had a funny little window on the front, and you've got a lot of glass facing sideways, and just configuring the kitchen, but also it kept feeling like the thing that wasn't like the others on the front elevation. So in the end, we thought just having this calm, like it's not too long, but like a 8-foot length of the stucco was as successful, or maybe more successful, than having that window. But it worked. It allowed on the interior, we're trying to find a place for a range and do a bunch of stuff that is just practical stuff as well.
I mean, you've got that big window that you've mirrored in composition on the front on that foremost front elevation. So I think letting that look like just a blank wall is. I think the added window in the center composition really helps, and I don't have a problem with the blank wall. Got to vent somewhere. Got to put stuff somewhere. So
plant a tree there.
And there's going to be plenty of light in that kitchen. That's you've got that big light window, and then 2 over the kitchen sink. It's in the recess. It'll be nice.
Any other comments? Okay, move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Childs, second by Naylor. Childs?
Yes.
Naylor?
Yes.
Okay, approved.
Any other comments before we adjourn the meeting?
Any walk-ins?
Walk-ins?
I appreciate how quickly you moved this along, Bill.
Yes.
I'm presently just north of Charlotte, and I've got 8 hours to drive to get home.
No, I hear you.
Well done, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hope everyone has a phenomenal day.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Safe travels,
Bye-bye.
George.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.